Okay, so lesson 2.5, because I have a bit of an OCD when it comes to sticking to the source material. So when you go to lesson 3, it's going to be actually lesson 3 in the book. So I'm going to start with our vocabulary is basically numbers. So it's going to be واحد, that's 1, اتنين, 2, ثلاثة, 3. If you're like into the Amarna period, you know the stones are called talatat. The way it's built, it's an Egyptological term because they always use like 3 stones next to each other, I think. So it's called talatat, and that's where the word comes from talata, 3. Arba, that's 4. Khamsa, 5. Sitta, 6. Sab'a, 7. ثمانية, 8. 9, 9. 10, 10. So, not much to explain here, just learn it. Here we're going to start to notice a little bit of a pattern. So, 11, that comes from, where is it?
Sounds like a shortened واحد, no?
Yeah, it's a shortened word, exactly. So that's...
It sounds like shortened for 11.
Yeah, exactly. So it's أحد, عشر. So 110 basically. But in Masri we kind of press it all together because like a common theme with Masri is like, how can we say this word with the least effort possible? That's the entire philosophy of the entire language. So,
but also what's interesting is that the Ain letter is lost in 11. Which is pretty interesting. Yeah.
I think because it stops the flow of the word. Like if you say it Heidasha, that's kind of weird. So probably just simplicity. Etnasha, same principle. Isna. Asha. That's MSA, by the way. So Ithna, 2, Asha, 10, so 2 tenths.
You say that's MSA. Does that mean if someone was giving a speech or hyper-correcting themselves to be MSA, they would actually pronounce it the slow, separated way?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But if you're speaking like purely in Masri, then it would be Etnasha. 13 is Talatasha, so you have the Talata, Talat. On Asha, that would be the 10. Like Bashandi just said, it's interesting because the Ain is dropped here one more time. So normally this part here is for the 10. Asha should be Asha, so 10. The Ain is dropped, and then you have the word Talata. So Talat, 3 tenths basically.
I think the accent, what do you call it? The prosody, the accent also moves a bit, like from Talata to Talatasha. The accent goes back, so the entire thing becomes a single unit.
Yeah. You can also see it like with 14. So with 14 you have Arba Tasha. So it's like the Arba, and you have the Tasha as well. So it's always like this. Tasha is like the standard for 10. So you can imagine it this way. Tasha equals D. So you have like 11, 12, these are the two different ones, like 11, 12, and then you have like 13, 14, 15, 16. And that's a little bit similar. So 13, 14, that would be 14. 15, that's 15. So 5, 10, 5 tenths. 16, 6 10. 17, 10. 18, 18. 19, 19. So then we have the 20. So we're going to like in 10 steps from now on. So I have 20, it would be 20. So that's also easy, like the that's like 10. And the in here, that's the dual form, so 2. So I have in Arabic, or in Masri as well, you have like 1 dual and then 3 or more. So it's either 1 thing, 2 things, or 3 things or more. So there are 3 different categories. So here we are saying like it's 2 pairs of 10. If we want to say 21, we say واحد, so number 1, and 20. 20. So 1 and 20. English does it the other way around, but weirdly enough, German does it the same way as Masri and Arabic. So that's like an interesting thing. But it's the opposite of how we say it in English. So the small number comes first.
Older English text, you'd find this sometimes. 5 and 20. It's a very archaic English.
Yeah, I think that's the Germanic way of saying it was like the same way as Arabic, but German still had this way of saying it. So probably English just, like with everything, shifted when did its own thing at some point. Yeah, so it's the same way of saying it from now on. So ثلاثة, so 13. 30 would be ثلاثين. ثلاثة, 3, and then the in. 14 would be 40, so أربعة, and then the in at the end. So if you're saying like 20, so this in is basically the T in English. So you have the number أربعة, the feminine T at the end is dropped, and then you add the in at the end. So you have like...
I have a question about the in ending, because for 20 you said it's the dual ending, but it looks the same for the other numbers.
I think that's the... Do you have an explanation?
Yeah, well, the thing is that in Arabic it has like cases like these. So classical Arabic, it's like either you'd say like أربعون or أربعين or أربعين. It depends on the position of the word in the sentence, whether it's like nominative or accusative. But for some reason in Egyptian Arabic, it's very fossilized into this. So this is like an accusative of masculine plural, the Y and the E at the end. That's my understanding. Might be totally wrong. I'm not really good at grammar.
Yeah. So my own theory is that with 20 it was the dual form, and with the other it was the plural form. But because, like as Bashandi said, the way of separating it depending on the case of the word in the sentence, they both settled on the same way of saying it. So originally it was because of 2 things and then more, 3 or more, and then it settled in the way it is right now.
So they are spelled the same. I haven't zoomed in on the Arabic to see what the endings look like, but they just merged.
They both settled in the same way, because in MSA the ending changes depending on where the word is. So that
I
would
see.
be the standard ending, and then it would change depending on the word. Okay, so what was I trying to say? Yeah, so I have like, if I want to make number 40, 40 is 4 and 10, so 4 times 10. So I will take the number 4. This here is not really an A, that's the T, like the feminine T. So this gets dropped. So we have A. And then we add the E. That would be like the T, Y in English. Khamsa, you can see it here. There's the A, the feminine T, it's dropped, and then we add the E. So it follows the same pattern all the way. Is it making any sense?
So far, so good. Anything special about the number 2, or is it like any other number?
Where?
For example, if you wanted to say 22, 32,
It's the
is
same.
it,
اتنين وعشرين 23
Great.
Same.
so it doesn't do anything special because of duals. Wonderful.
No, it's the same. 16, that's also a special case. You have the T becomes like doubled. And that's the only thing. Right after that, you have 70, سبعة, ends with a feminine T, gets dropped at the in, and then you have 70, 70, 80, same, 90. So, as you can see, it's really just one way of doing it and then copy it all the way down. And then we have Maya, that's 100. Not to be confused with Maya, that's water. So if I want to say 153, it would be Maya. So the 100 first. ثلاثة. This one comes second. This comes first. و50. So this comes third. So I start with the hundreds, then the last digit, and then the 10. So, 100, 3, and 50. These are literal translation. 200 would be 200. So 2 times 100. And then 300 would be 300. 400. So you always add the O, basically. 500. 500. The funny thing is, and that was something my Arabic teacher in Egypt was really annoyed by in Masri. So if you say 300 or 500, that's a better example. 500 in MSA would be like 1/5 of 100. So it's actually the opposite of what you're trying to say. Because khoms means 1/5. On roba, for example, like roba would be 1/4. So somehow the word spelling shifted so that we say what we actually are saying is like 1/4 of 100, 1/5 of 100, 1/6 of 100. But it shifted for us using that to say like 600, 500, 400, 500, and so on. So it's like
So if the meaning shifted, how would you then say the fraction?
I think I would like pause roba meya. And I wouldn't add the O. Yeah, right. So instead of saying roba or meya, I would say roba meya. So I would drop the O. Would you say it this way, Ashani?
I'd say 25, to be honest. I never needed to say
Yeah.
1/4 of 100.
But like in
I
theory,
usually use the fractions for numbers that I can't say.
But yeah, for me personally, like it's something you will never have to say, like Vashangi said. But like in theory, I will drop the O and like have a little pause between both words. But it's like the same thing. So Sotumeya, Setta, Sotumeya, Khamsa, you add the O, vowel shifts to an O, and then add another vowel where the feminine T used to be. Saba becomes Soba, O, Meya. So the A in Saba becomes O, and then O at the end, and then Meya, 100, normally. And that's the same thing all the way down here. Then 1000, that's Elf. Not to be confused with Alif. They sound similar, but they are not the same thing.
And I noticed you used that in Alf Salama.
Yeah.
For the
so in
1,000 wellnesses or something.
Exactly. So in Egyptian, the number 1000 is the good number. So you wish people 1,000 like health or something, years of life or so on. 60 is the bad number. Why exactly, no one knows. I think 1,000 comes from ancient Egypt, probably. Like that's the only logical explanation I have. No real connection. Like I haven't found a real connection, but it's used in the same way. So probably that's where it comes from. 60, I didn't find any reason for it actually. But just good thing to know. Like if you see 60, something like 60 curses on him, like 60 curses on the name this one. Like you say, you'll find people saying it. So that's a bad number.
Like a 60th birthday party would be a little awkward.
Yeah, not that much. People actually don't really think about it all that much. That's like it's so ingrained in the culture that it's just invisible. People like do it without actually thinking about it all that much.
So if you wish somebody 60 wellnesses, what happens?
It would sound
you don't get invited for tea next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If I get sick again, I'm going to blame you. Like it sounds really weird if you say like Sittin Salama. Like it actually feels like you're telling me, yeah, I wish you die or something. It sounds really weird. Yeah.
And 1,000 curses, what does that get you?
It would also sound. It will make it. Strangely enough, it makes it sound like a bit less scary if you say it like that. At least to me personally. Like if I hear the word 1,000, it becomes better, and if I hear the word 60, it becomes worse. Like my reaction to it changed a little bit. Yeah. One big number would be 1,395. So same logic as with the other combinations. So we start with Elf, the biggest one. That's our first number. Tultumeya. Then we do the hundreds. Khamsa would be the third one. And then the same. Elf, Tultumeya, Khamsa, the same. Makes sense because if you have like 95, you will always say Khamsa with the same. So you're basically working your way from the biggest to the smallest. It's just a bit tricky because at the end with the 95, you start with the 5 and then the 9. But in reality, you're working your way from the biggest number to the smallest number. So it's 1,000, 300, 5, and 9. 5 and 90.
Would you use this form for referring to years because they're usually in that quantity?
Yeah, I would say like 50 sana. 50 years.
Well, I meant like the absolute date.
Yeah.
This year is the year 2026. Would be
السنة دي.
F.
You can try. No, try.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So 2000 not تلات 22 No, wait, it's not 22, it's 26. Sorry. So that would be, what is 6? You should know, I don't. Seta?
Yeah.
Seta. So Seta 20
وعشرين.
وعشرين. Okay, try one more time. So 2026. Perfect.
السنة دي. This year. 2026.
Got it.
Or better, like more natural would be إحنا, we are. في 2026. We are in 2026.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, well. With if you want to add like the 3,000, it would be like 3,000, 4,000, 6,000. You basically just drop the feminine T and then add. Like if I want to say 4,000, it would be like we have 4. We remove the feminine T, and then we add a T to the alf. 4. So 1,000 has an A, we call it stop, we remove it, add a T. So we move basically the T from the number to the word 1,000, and then that's how you get 4,000. 5, 1,000, 5,000, and so on. With really big numbers, we go with 1 million would be million, milliard, trillion. So, like a weird mixture of English and German in some way. Like we take one thing from one system and one thing from the other system, I think. But yeah, it's million, milliard, trillion, and so on. Good. Any questions with the numbers so far?
So with the trilliard there, that's 100 quadrillion. I'm sorry, trillion.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100 quadrillion.
Oh, you mean the way I wrote it? The number
Yeah.
I wrote? Yeah, I'm probably just added some zeros there.
There may be a 0 missing, huh? There may be a 0 missing.
I don't know, I guess, maybe.
I mean, for a trillion should be all 3s. I mean, 3 zeros.
Yeah, but you got the idea. That's like the next number after
Okay.
the like million, billion, that would be like the English trillion, basically. That's the same English trillion. Yeah.
Okay.
So in English, that would be like that's a million, that's a billion, and that's a trillion.
Now we know how to
Gotcha.
describe Elon Musk's wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the way you count things is quite simple, actually. Like if it's one thing, you don't use any numbers, just say the word. If it's 2 things, you use the dual form. If it's 3 things, you drop the feminine T and then from the number, and then use the plural of the word. So as an example, we have the word kitab, book. 2 books would be kitabin. So it would be 2 books. If it's going to be 5 books, 5 kutub. So kutub is the plural of kitab. 5, we have the word khamsa, 5. We drop the feminine T at the end, so it becomes khams. and kutub, so the plural. So خمس كتب there's an A.
I have a question about the pronunciation of the in ending on the dual.
Mhm.
Is that purely vocalic glide for the in, or is there a consonantal yin at the onset?
No, it's more like kitabin.
Okay.
I just didn't know how to show it, so I was like, okay.
Yeah,
otherwise-
it's awkward.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I was
Yeah,
understanding.
no. Because I would like to
It's
get the most closest approximation somehow, but it's weird. It's not an E, it's not an A, it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's particularly Egyptian. In classical Arabic, it's either kitaban, which is the nominative, and kitabain, which would be the accusative.
Mhm.
But for some reason, the ayn is usually pronounced as ayn. So actually, in classical Arabic, it's very rare to see the ayn. It's usually ayn, like bait, but in Egyptian Arabic, it's bait.
Mhm.
This is how it is. And it ends with a proper consonant, rather than like other critical mark. That's my understanding.
So in classical Arabic, just to make this a bit clear, so if you have like the dual form, it ends with an or ain. If it's depending on where in the sentence it is. So if it's 3 or more, then it becomes un or ain. At least that's what I remember from the couple of MSA lessons I had. So Bashadi can correct me if I'm wrong. So you have like the two things here.
You're right. Actually, un is for plural, but that is the nominative for plural.
Mhm.
And then you have the alif kitab, like kitabat, or something like that. And then the yah for accusative. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it just happened that Egyptians just took the two that are similar and then used them.
To
Works for
be
me.
honest, it's not a million miles away from what Coptic did with Greek. They kind of fossilized how words are in a certain state and ran with it.
Yeah. It's like I said, like Egyptian, like any language that Egyptians spoke, you'll always see the same trend. It's like, how can we make this as less effort to use as possible? So, a fun challenge. How can someone tell me how to say 3 books? So the rule that we have, we drop the feminine T and use the plural.
So we drop the so it becomes talat. Talat kutub.
Yes. The reason why I use this because the word talata is a bit mean because you have the feminine T at the end and you have a real T before it. So sometimes people like drop both of them. It's like, no, there's a T there. Good. So we have enough time. So now we're going to do the days, month, and years, like how to say what day is it, what year is it, and so on. So the months are quite easy. January is Yanair. February is February. March is Maris. May is Maio. So Cinco de Maio, similar. June is Junho. July is Julio. August is Agostos. September is September. October is October. November is November. December is December. I would personally like use a V with November, or a very light V, like somewhere between F and V, but depends on the person, really.
Is it accurate to say they didn't start using these words for months until the British? Like that's why they're the English forms?
I don't know, because
Yes.
you have in
So it must be
Arabic,
fairly recent.
you have in Arabic, like in medieval scripture, you would have the like Islamic month, basically. In Egypt, I
Yeah,
know
like
like
a lunar calendar.
yeah, exactly. I know in Egypt, all the way to like the early 20th century, Coptic calendar was still used quite often.
Yeah.
It's used now more like in the cities, at least. It's more of like predicting the weather. Like, oh, okay, we're in this month now. That's how the weather is. In the more countryside, they use it like in farming, so that's how it survived today. But they used it more often in the past. When it started exactly, I don't know. Like probably when it just became like the global calendar, maybe.
People do
late
use
19th
these.
Century.
Hmm?
So late 19th century, one of the rulers in Egypt decided to stop using any other calendar officially and use the Western calendar, the whole months officially. And before that, if you look at any book, it's usually the Hijri month, the Arab month,
Mm.
and then the Coptic month is written. And for peasants, they used to rely completely on the Coptic month for agricultural reasons. And then the Gregorian started taking over and kind of became the de facto standard, except when you're calculating something for the church, some rural areas in agriculture, and for religious purposes for Ramadan or something like that. So there is a bit of like plurality, kind of.
And when was
Well,
that,
they were
that
known.
switch? Sorry to interrupt. When was the switch, do you know? Like in public life?
I think it
I'll have to
was
search exactly.
late 19th century, I think. Like one of Muhammad.
Oh.
It could be Ismail, actually.
Yeah, probably Khidr Ismail or something like that.
Okay. So if you were going to the doctor or if you had an appointment in court, you would be using these month names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
And the other thing is that the names of the month were known for ages before that. They're not like unknown. Because the Scala Magna mentions the Roman months and then puts January, February, all of that. So they were known to some extent, but I don't think there was clear usage.
Right, but the way these are spelled seems like the English form to me, versus
Yeah.
like a Latin or French. I could be wrong, but it seems that way.
I mean, you have like words like July is more like Julio, Augustus instead of August, Maris
And
instead of
May
March.
instead of March.
Yeah. So it sounds less English to me, at least.
Yeah, some of those sounded more French, but some of them didn't. So that's why I thought maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, some could have shifted over time because MSA itself is a modern language, like it's a modern standard form of Arabic. So I personally would have to look like at how did they write it before that. But the switch, like in Egypt in general, you have 3 calendars. Like if you take a newspaper, you will find 3 calendars written on top. The one you use in daily life would be like the Gregorian calendar, and then the one you would use in Islamic holidays would be the Islamic calendar or the Hijri calendar. And like for Egyptian stuff, of course, for the church, you have the Coptic calendar, but also like for domestic stuff, like the weather, for example, for the people living in the city, or like for the farmers, like to predict, okay, when should I do what exactly? That's when the Coptic calendar would come back into place. So the Coptic calendar has more practical usage outside of the religious usage, but you then have the Islamic calendar, which is basically just for religious reasons.
It's very interesting.
Okay, so if you want to say like which day in the month, like a big day that's coming soon would be the 4th of July. That would be 4 يوليو. So 4 July, يوليو. So 4 July, basically. Yeah, and here you have the 3 calendars. So Hijri would be the Islamic calendar.
I was wondering if the G shifted, so it does shift to the hard G in Masri.
Yeah. Hijri basically means like migration, because it starts when the day Muhammad moved from Mecca to Medina. So that's when it starts. So his migration, that's where the name comes from. The months themselves like existed long before that. Like it was like a reset from that moment. Miladi would be like Gregorian calendar. It literally means like birth. So it's the birth calendar. And the Coptic calendar would be like Ibti. So the Qa also fell with Ibti. For BC, it would be Abl al-Milad, so literally before birth. And AD would be Bad al-Milad, so literally after birth. So you say like year 50 before birth or after birth. The days, so you have day is Yom. So like if you're not like in Hebrew or in Judaism, you have like Yom Kippur. That's the same word, day. Isbua would be week. You can see also the word Saba inside it. So Isbua is like 7 days, so it's 7, so it's a week. Sana is year. Bukra, tomorrow. Ba'ad Bukra, after tomorrow. Ba'ad means after. Imber is yesterday. Awel Imber would be before yesterday. So Awel, it means something like first. I don't really follow the logic of it, why it here it means before, but like Awel Imber means before yesterday. If you want to say the day after tomorrow, it's basically how I say it in English right now. So you say Ba'ad Bukra. So the day after tomorrow. At some point you just use numbers. So Ba'ad Talat TM. So after 3 days. Last week would be الأسبوع اللي فات. So the week that has passed. الأسبوع الجاي, the week that's going to come. Yeah, that's the example. Like من 3 شهور would be 3 months ago. In 2 years would be كمان سنتين. So كمان would be like still in 2 years. Spring festival, like I think many people know it in our group, especially like شم النسيم. Christmas would be Eid al-Milad, so literally like the birthday festival or feast. Rosh Hashanah would be New Year, like literally head of the year. El-Moulid would be the birthday festival. That's something that happens like in Egypt. Like you have every region has like a local saint in a way, like someone who dies in a particular place. Like I think in churches as well, but also in mosques. Like you have a mosque, for example, in one place, and someone important is dead there, and their birthday is celebrated by the people in this place. And if they are big enough, you start seeing like huge pilgrimage to this place every year, like, to ask for gifts from that person or like to pray near them, get blessings and so on. Yeah, so the days themselves are actually quite easy. So you have Sunday is Had because it's 1. Itnin is Monday because 2. Tuesday, Talet, 3. Wednesday, Arba. goes 4. Thursday, Khamis, goes 5. And then Friday you have Goma. That's where it breaks. Goma means gamma. So maybe it's like the day of like coming together, I think. Like that's how I understand it. But I have to look into it exactly.
Is it related to Salat al-Jumu'ah?
Yeah, but the prayer of Friday, the word itself existed before Islam. So it must have had like a meaning before that.
Oh, really? I didn't know it existed before Islam.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Like the prayer is named after the day, but the day's name is earlier. Because if you look at Saturday, Saturday is
okay, so Saturday is from Shabbat.
Exactly.
That I get.
Yeah, so the days are older than Islam. Like they are so old that like Sabt at least is the same as in Hebrew.
That's fascinating.
I always assumed the other way around. I assumed that the Friday was named after the prayer.
Even the Islamic
anyway,
month, like Ramadan, for example, existed way before Islam. Like you would see people before Islam mentioning Ramadan, and it didn't have really that. Like there was pilgrimage back then as well, but it wasn't like Islamic pilgrimage.
So sorry if I could digress, if you don't mind me asking. So the first months in the Hijri calendar are called Muharram, which means that it's forbidden, and my understanding is that it's forbidden to fight in these months, Ashhur al-Hurum. So that name existed before Islam. Islam kind of repurposed the name or something.
Yeah, exactly. So these are like pre-Islamic traditions, basically. That just continue.
So does this mean that the Arabic calendar existed entirely before Islam, and what happened to it is exactly what happened to the Gregorian calendar, that it becomes BC and AD?
Yeah.
But we don't have a before Hijrah calendar. That's not a thing, but theoretically it exists.
Theoretically, no, you have it. Like they would say, they would say like poet A lived 500 years before Hijrah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so any questions with the dates, days, anything?
That sounds great.
Good. So the final boss, the clock. It's really not that difficult. So you're basically, it's like in English, like you say AM or PM, but you say like morning, afternoon, evening, night, and so on. You don't use the military timing like this. You can say like 13 hour or hour 13 or 14 and so on. So if you want to say it's 1 o'clock, you say الساعة. ساعة is clock or time, basically. واحدة. So it would be I always have to search for the pen. Yeah. So واحدة والساعة خمسة. So you just say الساعة and then the number, and that's it. That's how you say like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's the same principle, just switch it. The way you use you say like the minutes. So if it's 5 minutes after the time started, like we're going to start with 12, so that's our 0 minutes mark. 5 minutes past that, we say we خمسة and 5. So واحدة وخمسة. 1 and 5. So الساعة واحدة وخمسة. The hour is 1 and 5. So 1 hour, 5 minutes. If you move to 10, you remove the خمسة and add 10. It's and 10. So 1 and 2 would be وخمسة و10. Then with the quarter, you say وربع. So 15 would be وربع. That would be and a quarter. So واحدة وربع, it's 1 and a quarter. So a quarter of an hour, basically. When it's 20 minutes, you say وتلت. So that would be and a third. And when you reach the half point, so the half point is going to be ونص, so and a half. So it's واحدة ونص, 1 and a half. So it's الساعة واحدة ونص. The hour is 1 and a half. So if it's 25 minutes, you say ونص إلا خمسة. So let's break this down. So الساعة واحدة ونص إلا خمسة. So الساعة would be the hour is واحدة 1 and half نص إلا except خمسة 5. So it's basically an hour. The hour is 1 o'clock and a half minus 5. So that's the logic. When you move to the
I like
other,
it. I like it.
you can also say 25 minutes, like it works, but when it clicks, like it's very quite efficient. When you move to the other side, everything flips. So you say everything that's we in this side becomes إلا, so minus. And these two are the two examples. The only thing that's different. So it becomes ونص وخمسة. So a half and 5. So 35 minutes. So at 25, it's a half minus 5, and then it's half plus 5. And then إلا تلت becomes minus a third, إلا ربع minus a quarter, إلا 10 minus 10, إلا خمسة minus 5. And that's all we have for today. Any questions?
Next time, let's cover how to say 2.5. So that's always. Say again? Okay, that's too easy. Let's say 2.7.
اتنين فاصلة.
Usually it's like 2 and 7 out of 10. So 2 و7 من 10.
Oh yeah. Right.
Let's talk about it next time.
Yeah.
I'm just
That would
curious
be
because.
class.
So on a final note, I got the date of switching to the Gregorian calendar from the American website, Gov blah blah blah. It's 1875, my friend.
Yeah, cool link. Thanks for sending that.
You're welcome.
It was interesting to find it in what I just had a quick glance. Diplomatic correspondence with the United States. Basically, that's how we know when it's switched. That is kind of cool. But okay. I was just going to mention decimals, and because there's like two things where you can always tell how fluent somebody is in a language. It's the, do you know how to read decimals? And do you know how to do mathematical operations? Because these things are never spelled out in books. So if you read happily, you can be fairly advanced in a language if you've never lived it. If you come to something like, okay, I don't know, 5 divided by 3 is so-and-so. That's what trips everybody up.
Egypt's a bit different because you have like people like me who have never studied math in Arabic.
So you just use English?
Yeah, I've always used math in
me
English
too.
and then German. So I really like more
Too
than plus,
funny.
minus, and multiply, divide. That's my limit.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. No, but great lesson. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wish you all
That's really
a,
interesting.
I wish you all a happy Sunday. And until next time.